All right, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 65 of Talking Taker, our encyclopedic exploration digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. My name is Alex Dorio. I am one of your co-hosts, one of the creatures here, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my man who, I'd usually have a joke or a pun or something silly here, but dude, we just gotta celebrate because Travis White, you have brought a new creature of the night into the world. You are a proud father for the third time, and for me and all your fellow creatures here, we just want to say congratulations to you, sir. I don't know how you're doing the podcast right now.
Well, the only reason I'm doing it is because my little creature of the night is in the living room with my mom right now. She stayed a few extra days up here to help us out, so shout out to old Miss Jackie, and she's hanging out with my baby right now. My other two are asleep, and my wife's asleep. And so, the only reason I can get this show to you guys on Friday this week is because Mom's hanging out with the other creature of the night. So, if you guys hear her screaming in the background, I apologize. I may have to run away and get her and come back, but we'll see. But thank you guys for your love and support. And yes, I saw somebody on Twitter was saying they weren't sure if we would be able to do this anymore, but they saw that this is my third time around. So, pretty much got this covered. So.
You got a little triple threat going around in your house.
I do. Got a tag team and their valet, man. Getting ready.
Well, dude, I'm so glad that you had the baby. I'm so glad things are going well. And honestly, the fact that we're talking about that is the only reason I'm sure that this episode is not a repeat, because I thought this was a rerun when I started looking at it and seeing we were doing Undertaker and Kane yet again here on our podcast. Dude, what are we doing? Why?
It's like overtaking the Undertaker Mankind stuff, man. Now it's like, and Undertaker Austin. I feel like this is overtaking it now. This is like how many matches is this they've had on pay-per-view? 6,
I've lost
5?
track. Yeah.
I've lost track too, man. So, yeah.
But
here we go.
Is it a match? That's going to be our big question for the night. Is it actually a match?
We will get to that as we break it down. Yeah, we'll see. Does it count or does it not count?
Yeah, that's our gimmick here. We're going through every Undertaker pay-per-view match. That's the framing device of every one of our episodes. And there might be false advertising tonight. And we'll talk about that here in a little while. But it is crazy. We just got to mention as well that we are talking about Undertaker and Kane going at it again, the Brothers of Destruction. And they did go at it again for the first time, I believe, on pay-per-view, maybe ever, against D-Generation X this past weekend at the Crown Jewel show. Travis, I know your wife was in labor during.
Oh, my baby was.
The baby
here,
was already. Okay,
Baby came 5 that morning. So at noon that afternoon, I did not have a chance to turn on the old network and watch it. And turns out it missed too much, but looks like we're going to have a bunch of full old farts in the ring, knocking each other's faces off and shaving each other's heads. And no, I'm just kidding. We'll get to that match eventually on Talking Taker. And I have not watched it, though. Usually we kind of give our 2 cents about it. But it looks like DX took a page out of Undertaker's book back here in 2000 and decided to attack the mask of Kane during that match. We'll see.
That was the highlight in my book. I have not watched the full match yet either, but I did see some highlights of it and Kane's mask falling off. I mean, that's the metaphor for the match right there. Unfortunately.
Incredible, man. Oh, just the fact that his hair's attached to it and you just see it fly off. And then he's on the outside and the camera pans to him and you see him bald Glenn Jacobs.
And that is perfectly fitting for this episode as we'll get some glimpses of Kane without his mask on very briefly here tonight as well.
Exactly.
Well, we will cover that in about 2 years or so here on the show. One day in full, in long form, and there will be quite a bit to talk about. Actually, a lot of build-up for that match, so that'll be interesting. And we are open. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well, as always, at all our social media, at Talking Taker, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We try to keep abreast of all the latest Undertaker news, and I'm sure there will be more to come as the months progress and we get into WrestleMania season. I'm sure we'll be seeing at least one more appearance of him, if not some more here before WrestleMania 35.
35, man. It's crazy. Can't believe WrestleMania's that old. Anyway, sorry.
Nah,
It just hit me.
it just hit you. Middle aged.
Exactly. Middle aged and crazy. I don't know what they're gonna do this year. They're
Bring Terry
they're
Funk back.
There you go. Why not?
Why not?
He's 206 years old himself. That's how old those guys were in the ring, man. That tag match, 206 years.
Isn't that sad?
In the ring. Isn't that crazy? Oh, people thought WCW was bad having Age in the Cage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got nothing on the crown jewel.
Exactly. Anyway, moving on from that, we're covering SummerSlam. Excuse me, I apologize. I'd like to rewind. We're covering the SummerSlam
there you
2000. Go. Bret Hart. Yeah, I'll never get that out of my brain. So, but of course, to build up to that, we got to go back to these episodes of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, building up to it. And like you said, we are getting to Taker and Kane, but it will not feel like it for a few weeks here. Because, we left off fully loaded. I'm getting into Raw 374 on July 24th. Got the good old commissioner, Foley, coming out to recap. He basically just literally recaps the entire show of Fully Loaded. He just gives everyone in the arena what happened. And then amidst all of it, he basically says that Angle wants a rematch with Taker tonight on Raw. Well, Benoit and Shane come out. He wants a rematch with The Rock. Stephanie comes out. She agrees. A bunch of nonsense happens. Stephanie winds up slapping Foley. And then Foley books Shane and Stephanie in a first ever brother-sister match.
Interesting.
Yes. It may be the last ever. I don't know. But first ever brother-sister match against two mystery opponents. And I just wrote in my notes, I know this seems weird, but like somehow this is actually going to play into Taker's story. So I'm not just giving you guys at home a bunch of nonsense. It actually will play into the Taker story down the road. So,
it might be the last ever, or it might be the first ever until the White siblings get in the ring in about 18, 20 years.
Exactly. Would it be bad to call my team's name the White Savior? No, I mean, this is my last name, but we won't go that far. Sorry, I have little sleep. I've had little sleep since the baby's been here.
It could get over. I could see it.
It could. We'll see what society is like in those years. So, anyway, but this entire segment, dude, opening Raw, it doesn't involve Hunter at all. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but it might as well have been because it is over 18 minutes. 18 minutes of precious real estate on head-to-head with Nitro. And of course, Nitro is failing. You know, they're kind of dying, but it's 18 minutes, man, of your show recapping Fully Loaded and making one tag match and two rematches tonight for Raw. I was just like, what the heck? So
people are eating it up, man, and
they are though. Yeah,
it's still happening to this day.
It is, but today they're just killing time. You know, they have nobody to fight against. There's no war. But back then they did. It was just crazy. But anyway, moving on, the McMahon siblings come out for their match against Lita and a returning Big Show. So we got Paul White here. He comes back from the Great Unknown. He's been gone for 2 months since the Giant Killer, Shane, defeated him back at Judgment Day, which is when Taker, ironically, came back that night. So once Shane sees Big Show come out, he hightails it up the ramp, and Shane is followed by Big Show. So that's kind of the story of the night. Later on, we see Big Show backstage, and he's in the search for, and I'm going to quote this directly from Big Show's mouth, he's in the search for that $1 billion butt plug, Shane McMahon.
Ew.
Come on, Shane, where are you? Come on, you $1 billion butt plug. Where are you?
Ooh, boy. So I don't know what that means. That's a lot of money for one of those. But
is that a T-shirt?
I think it can be. I mean, although today you might have put like a, they had like the OG BC shirts for Luke Gallows. We might just put a BDBP, $1 billion butt plug.
I'll get started on it.
Take her easy, BDBP.
My word.
For sale at TeePublic. Anyway, eventually Shane finds the butt plug outside, and Big Show finds Shane outside, and Shane evades him. And later on throughout the night, we got Kurt Angle's doing a promo in the ring, and he's like, Taker defeated a man last night who was scared. He wasn't the Olympic hero last night. He didn't get the right guy, and then we get Taker's awful overdubbed music coming out, and comes out and after about 2 minutes of a match with Angle, he hits a chokeslam, and that's basically where the match would have ended. However, Shane and Big Show doing their little cat and mouse game. Shane hops over the barricade into the ring. Big Show follows him in there. Shane bumps into Undertaker and eats a big old soup bone from Taker, punched him right in the face. Taker goozles him by the throat, and Big Show gets in the ring. He's like, no, let me do the honors. Let me chokeslam him. And so Taker's like, all right, fine. Gives him up, gives Shane to Taker. Excuse me, I apologize. Gives Shane to Big Show and turns his back on him. And then we see Big Show have his probably close to 500th face heel turn in a year and 4 months of being in the company as he goes to clothesline The Undertaker. Oh, Big Show. What a sad story.
I mean, I don't even know what to say.
He just flip-flops.
The story of his career right there.
I mean, even now, even in 2018, he came back, a month ago on SmackDown, and then the next week he turned heel with the bar, and it's just crazy, man. He's still doing it to this day, so it's like an online joke, but it's legit. He just, whatever the story needs, he flips. So.
Talk about T-shirts. You could parody Stone Cold Steve Austin's "Don't Trust Anybody" T-shirt with just a "Don't Trust Big Show" T-shirt. Yeah. Never trust the Big Show.
Exactly. Or you could do the Kurt Hawkins. He has like the hash marks of how many losses he's had. Just do Big Show heel turns.
There you go.
A bunch of hash marks.
I like that too.
So, So anyway, Big Show turns heel here, and then he starts working that injured knee of Taker. Because if you guys remember back at Fully Loaded, Kurt Angle took out Taker's knee with that gigantic wrench. And so 200-pound wrench or whatever it was. So it's 3-on-1 here because Shane and Angle and Big Show are all working on that, and so it was all a ruse. Big Show gives Taker a huge choke slam, and the crowd actually is getting into it. They're like, Kane, 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 which it's always hard to chant a one-syllable wrestler name.
True.
That's one thing the Edge has said a lot on podcasts is like, only thing I would do differently is maybe had 2 syllables in my name, so it's just hard to chant one-syllable names. So anyway, later on we get Taker selling the beating. He's the officials and medics and referees are trying to get him to go on a stretcher, and he's of course refusing. And he sells really well here and seems so human and grabbing the ropes to help pull himself up. And the crowd is just like, man, they're just cheering him on. Like he's super babyface mode right here. It's really cool to see because we hadn't seen him, vulnerable like this in a while, and just the crowd really behind him. So it's really cool. And then later on backstage, he's like, payback's a you know what, and as he says that, those three attack him again, Shane, Big Show, and Angle, and Shane winds up breaking a cinder block over his knee.
Good Lord.
Yeah, exactly. I just freaking cinder block, man. So I guess that's where I don't know. Years later, we'd see like Seth Rollins and Ambrose and stuff do that. So I forgot that this happened back then. So that's a cinder block.
Doesn't feel good.
No, wouldn't feel good. I don't think you and I ever used those in our matches.
We didn't quite know how to gimmick those back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. So Shane and his new stable, I'm just going to call him his new stable, they have a little meeting backstage, and Shane and Show go to leave in a limo and leave Angle and Benoit behind. They leave Benoit to capture the title, basically, and JR tells us that Taker was taken to a medical facility. Later on, we get the Angry Red Machine comes, and he demands a piece of Shane McMahon's little faction. He talks to Commissioner Foley, and Foley winds up making the main event for the night, which would be Kane and The Rock versus Angle and Benoit. So we see Angle and Benoit teaming up before they became champions in 2002. So I forgot they kind of teamed up here. So the end of the show is Shane and Big Show wind up interfering during this match, of course. And I'm going to coin this. I'm going to coin them the Shane Event Mafia. So we got Shane, Big Show, Angle, and Benoit. So I just chose to call them the Shane Event Mafia. They leave Rock and Kane laying as Raw goes off the air. So, yeah. What do you think about Shane Event Mafia?
I love that name. That's much better. We're going to see this kind of evolve here over the next couple of weeks. Shane McMahon, Big Show, Chris Benoit, Edge and Christian all in there together, and Kurt Angle as well. What I read online, they're referred to as the Conspiracy. That's what Wikipedia calls that faction.
What?
And I had never heard that, but apparently JR says that on commentary
Okay.
at some point, but I never heard him say that. But the
Yeah.
Shane Event Mafia is a much better name, so that's what we're going to go with for this group. And
Thank you.
it was a short-lived little group. It had a lot of potential, but
I loved it though.
we're going to see why it was short-lived and
Yeah.
how the Big Show screwed up those plans and a lot of other plans here in the next few weeks.
For a shoot.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
In real life, in real life, yeah. The Shane Event Mafia standing tall, leaving Rock and Kane laying as we go off there. That leads us to SmackDown. What's that? SmackDown 49, I think.
Yeah, well, that is not going to give us too much to talk about here for the next SmackDown or Raw because The Undertaker is going to be MIA, selling these injuries, which is nice to see that a cinder block to the knee is actually going to sell it for a couple weeks here. There's actually nothing really on SmackDown at all, SmackDown 49, except Michael Cole giving us the update that Undertaker has some torn ligaments in his knee and is still in the local medical facility or hospital nursing those injuries. So that will hop back over to you for the Raw, and there's not much on that either.
No, not much here. This one is Raw 375 on July 31st. This is in memory of Gordon Soley, so I think he had passed away earlier in the week. So, do you remember too much of Gordon Soley? Do you listen to a lot of his stuff? I never heard too much of his Florida stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of it on the network on WCW. I wasn't at this time. I probably hadn't seen too much of him. But yeah, definitely enjoy his work and enjoy his commentary. I love all the old school commentators.
Oh yeah,
man, it's just refreshing to listen to some of that stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, in 2000, I probably wasn't too familiar with his stuff, but yeah, as years gone by, the internet is everywhere now. We can get anything at the drop of a hat. I think I've really loved his stuff. I don't remember watching too much of his Florida stuff back in the day, but anyway,
he's no Johnny Polo.
But he's impotent.
Very impotent.
Very impotent. So he gets a little in memoriam on this episode. And then we get Foley, and he basically informs the Chain Event Mafia that Benoit and Angle are going to battle the Dudley Boys while Big Show's going to take on Kane after just, what's transpired last week. So during that match, Kane's attacked on the way to the ring by Big Show. And Shane joins in as Kane starts to fight back. Angle and Benoit join in until the Dudley Boys make the save. And then JR says Shane's boys just wanted to eliminate Kane like they did the Undertaker. And that's pretty much all we get. Again, Undertaker's not on here. He's selling those injuries. But we get a little bit about Kane and the Shane Event Mafia. So I wanted to at least mention that. So.
Yeah, and then on SmackDown episode 50 on August 3rd, there is a promo from Shane, Big Show, and Benoit, the Shane Event Mafia, as Shane talks up the partnership with these guys and as well as Edge and Christian. And Big Show gets on the mic and talks about a man he knows very well, The Undertaker. So really cool here during this promo, we get continuity all the way back to last summer, August 1999. As Big Show says, Undertaker is going to rue the day that he left Big Show high and dry. Talking about Undertaker walked out of the company. Yeah. He didn't specifically mention that, but of course
he did.
That's what we got to think about. Well, he says, Undertaker, you wanted a nasty animal. You wanted the meanest freak in the WWF. You got him. So that was the gist of all those promos with Undertaker and Big Show back then, that he was trying to make a monster out of him, and now it's going to come back to haunt The Undertaker, which I really, really appreciated. You hardly ever see that continuity to something a year ago when Undertaker was a completely different character.
Yeah, it's true. It's been like 50 weeks since that happened. So, yeah, it's really cool to see that pay off here because I didn't get to see this because I'm watching the Raws. So it's really neat to know that they threw that in there. So that's awesome.
Big Show and Benoit are going to go on to defeat The Rock and Kane in the main event, and Big Show is going to continue his rampage here. They're really building him up to be a huge monster. He's going to go up to the stage, Big Show is, and lift up a big chunk of the metal portion of the stage, big panel of that stage, and he's going to take Kane and chokeslam him through the hole onto the quote-unquote concrete floor. I'm sure there's a crash pad under there, but it looked really cool.
It did.
The way they shot it just looks like he's going straight down into hell, I guess. The Demon Kane. And it's Shane McMahon is up there on the stage, and he sells it big, too. He's, like, in shock at Big Show. He's not, like, celebrating it. He's like, oh, my God, what just happened? I didn't even know Big Show was capable of that. So really selling him out to be a like I said, a big monster here. And at this point, I'm really enjoying this build up for Big Show and Undertaker, playing up on their past and their history, and doing their best to make Big Show look like he should look. You know, the 7-foot giant.
Yeah.
He should look dominant. He should look scary. He should be murdering people out there, and they're doing a great job of it at this point.
And it's really getting me pumped for their match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You think it's coming down the pipe.
You think. And there is one other quick thing I got to mention from this episode of SmackDown.
Sure.
There is a protest being held by
yes.
the Godfather's Hoes, or as Michael Cole refers to him, the Godfather's Ladies. Outside the arena, they've got signs. There's two of them. One of them is Victoria,
Right.
the future Victoria. They're protesting because the Godfather has joined your favorite faction, the Right to Censor.
No. I didn't say it's my favorite.
Oh, yes, you say you loved them.
I did love them. I did. They're not my favorite.
You've got
top five.
Top
I'm just
five.
kidding.
Oh, man.
I'm totally kidding.
You've got Right to Censor over NWO, Four Horsemen, DX.
If that was true, I would quit this podcast right now.
I would too.
I would have absolutely no qualifications to do this. So no, they are not up there. They're not top 20. But I enjoyed the heels they were. They got heat for me like they're supposed to. That's why I enjoyed it. So, I know you didn't. That's fine.
No.
But yeah, seeing Victoria do this is so funny, man. Just because of she's not that at all, you know. But I remember they showed some recaps of this on Raw, and it's just like she is not that person at all. I forgot she debuted as one of those ladies.
Well, the whole thing is so ridiculous that
Yeah.
they're campaigning. I don't know who they're campaigning to save them as hoes, looking
Right.
for a new pimp, I guess. I'm not really sure. But I thought that was a strong contender for our Vince Russo Memorial Bromance of the Week right
Sure.
there. And I'm actually going to let you decide it this week because I've got another contender coming on later in the show.
Okay.
I'll let you take a pick between that and something else later on.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm excited about that. I'll get my coin out and flip it, so we'll see which one wins. So awesome. Well, that's going to bring us to Raw 376 on August 7th, 2000, and this would have been right after we entered high school, dude. I think we started high school on either the 1st or the 4th of that year. Yeah, so we're freshmen in high school right here at this point, and just weird to think about. And I remember this episode of Raw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do, because it's something that's going to happen involving the Undertaker, actually. So Big Show, Edge, and Christian are out with Shane. They're going to face the APA, Matt Hardy. So, yeah, that's a motley crew. But it really
Random.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it made sense kind of storyline-wise, but we don't need to get into it. But anyway, Jeff is quote-unquote injured, so Matt's
okay.
tag team with the APA. It's a quick match. Show winds up hitting Farouk with the tag title belt that caused a DQ. So who knows why? But after that, this Raw is in MSG. So I wrote that MSG erupts as Taker's music hits. I guess they really did. I don't know, because I assume so. But we've talked about these last couple weeks of these edits on the network. Yeah. I can assume Madison Square Garden would have erupted. This is the first time he's been to MSG since he's been back. So I would imagine that they would have actually erupted. So hopefully that wasn't just him sweetening the sound on the network. But anyway, Taker comes out again. He's been gone for 2 weeks now. Comes out on his fresh old Titan bike, punching out, laying out Edge and Christian. As we know, they're just his whipping boys at this point. We've gone over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's laying out Edge and Christian, laying waste to Big Show with a bunch of flurry punches, big boots him over the top rope, and then he squashes Shane like a bug. He throws him over the top rope, just to the floor, almost like he did X-Pac on what we talked about last week's episode. So, and the crowd is just going bananas. Man, they're standing up. MSG's rocking at this point, and Taker starts his bike up and goes to chase Shane up the ramp because, again, he likes to attempt to murder the McMahon family on his motorcycle. So, but as he does this is the part I remember. So he's riding up the ramp and he's pulling off, and Shane jumps like from the stage over to like the side panels of the Raw's War. Like maybe they had the fist on the like Raw's War thing, not the SmackDown fist, but the fist on like the actual Titantron. He jumps over there that ledge, which is a little foreshadowing to his SummerSlam match. And then Taker is up there, and Big Show comes behind him, and Taker grabs a chain from Lord knows where, pulls a chain out.
A biker chain.
I guess it's his biker chain, which he'll go on to have biker chain matches.
That's right.
But he punches Big Show with his biker chain, and then he wraps it around his neck like a noose, and then throws him off the stage through 2 tables on the floor. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
It was like, watching it now, I was like, he just tried to murder a guy, pop his head off with a chain. So, yeah, wraps it around it and throws him 2 tables on the floor. So when someone comes at you with a cinder block on their knee, you just choke them out with a chain.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's a great response.
Yeah, so the crowd is going nuts, man. Taker's posing with his hands up with the chain wrapped around his stuff, and Shane winds up running backstage and leaving. And you see the EMTs attending to Big Show. Now, I don't know if Big Show like punched himself in the face a bunch when he was laying on there, but his eye was like swollen when he gets thrown. Now, I don't know if he's just, a method actor, like a Christian Bale, if you will. But
I don't know. Did you see Knucklehead?
No, I did not.
Would not call Big Show a method actor.
He's great in Waterboy. Anyway,
definitely, no argument.
So anyway, that's the build for that. Again, we're building toward Big Show and Undertaker at SummerSlam in 2 weeks. Can't wait. Throwing each other. Things are escalating here, getting high, getting lots of violence. So tell us what happens on SmackDown.
Not so fast, my friend.
Okay.
To quote the great Lee Corso. At this point, you would be thinking, yes, this is all building up to a Big Show Undertaker match. They brought Undertaker back and made him look like a monster, getting a lot of revenge here on the Big Show. But that is him getting his revenge on the Big Show and writing the Big Show off of television here for a few months. And you might remember this time, listeners, as the time that Big Show is written off TV and sent to OVW, the Ohio Valley Wrestling, the developmental territory at the time for the WWE. And, the rumors are and stuff online, I think would lead you to believe that this was all based on his weight. That he came back a few weeks ago from this knee injury overweight, and he was kind of ballooning up in his weight, and that is part of it. But I actually listened to Bruce Pritchard talk about it on Something to Wrestle a little bit earlier. They have an episode about SummerSlam 2000, and he goes in depth on this, so you can take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how much you guys out there agree agree with him, but he was there at the time, and
sure,
tells his side of the story. Says it was, his weight, Big Show's weight was a factor at that time, but really more so it was his attitude backstage, that he was kind of aloof, that he was falling asleep backstage during meetings, production meetings and things like that, that he was smoking a lot, and they were trying to get him to quit smoking, and he would lie to them and tell them he was, and then be out back smoking cigarettes like he used to on WCW TV.
No, Nitro, he came down to the ring with cigarettes, yeah.
And things like that, and so people were just frustrated with him. And it all, apparently, the big tipping point was a house show match, with Big Show and Undertaker against... Big Show and Benoit against Undertaker and Kane. And Undertaker came to the back and stormed to the back and was super frustrated with Big Show and just couldn't stand. He'd been trying to mentor him all this time and just wasn't clicking. So the decision was made to take him off TV, send him to developmental, which to me, that seems like a pretty harsh deal.
For real.
To send somebody, you didn't see that very often, a big name like that, all of a sudden. But Bruce Pritchard brought up his side of it, which I thought was really interesting, that Vince made that move because he was seeing a lot of Andre in the Big Show. I mean, he saw the way that Andre's life was deteriorated in those final years, where he was drinking all the time and just, really his body was breaking down and he wasn't taking care of himself in a lot of ways. And he says Vince didn't want to lose Big Show that way. He wanted him to get his life back on track, which I thought was
I believe that
perspective I'd never heard before, and made a lot more sense to me. Seems like less of a harsh punishment than just kind of a wake-up call for Big Show there.
It's like fatherly discipline, honestly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And possibly, perhaps, our friend Randy Turco at Pokey's Little Dog on Twitter, he might have been at that show, one of those shows here. He posted on Twitter a house show he was at around this time from Saturday, August 12th, 2000, and that match is on the card, and a Detroit street fight, Undertaker and Kane versus Big Show and Benoit. So he saw one of those matches, if not that exact match, on this loop. So very interesting there.
Yeah. That could have been it, man. Randy could have been there. That's awesome. Is that the one he posted that had Midian third from the top?
Midian and Rikishi.
Triple main event, dude.
Woo!
It was supposed to be Taz, right? But then he got scratched off and it was Midian.
Can you imagine?
And he took the L, didn't he?
Oh, 100%.
Midian, he's like the unsung hero of this podcast.
Oh, just wait till next month, bro.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
Oh, it's going to get good.
That's awesome.
Well,
oh man, well that's all interesting stuff because, like, you know, you and I have talked about Big Show and Taker's relationship on here and how Taker's gone on record saying he did take him under his wing. He did see a lot of money in this guy. He wanted him to shape up and looked at him like a mentor to him. I'm imagining that if that stuff is true, that he will get ticked off, you know, because Taker's he's a locker room leader, you know, even only a decade into his career here. So. I believe all that, and I remember specifically being noticing that the Big Show missing was a big deal because WWF No Mercy, the greatest wrestling game of all time, came out in November maybe of 2000.
That's right. Yep.
And the Big Show was missing from that.
Yeah,
missing from it.
I guess that's part of his punishment because he's also left off of SmackDown 2. SmackDown. Know Your Role, I believe.
Know Your Role.
For the PlayStation 1. And yeah, dude, those were both hugely important video games for the two of us. I believe they came out on the same day or the same week or something back then. And you had the Nintendo 64, I had the PS1, and
yes, sir.
I cannot count the hours we spent playing those video games by ourselves, with each other, with some other friends. Man, those were the best.
They were the best, man. You didn't have to worry about online gaming headsets, and you got with your friends and you played the game, and it was awesome. Oh, and that led us to making our own federations and our own storylines.
That's right.
Oh man, it was such good times. Like I've already mentioned that first blood match I had with Rock and HBK, that was on No Mercy. So yeah, but yeah, he definitely stuck out, man. He was missing from that game. I think Andre was a hidden character on No Mercy.
Yeah.
And because I remember putting him in like ladder matches and stuff, and it was great watching Andre come up. So I would imagine that was supposed to be Big Show's spot. They probably just that's just me speculating, but I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but they definitely left him off of that. It was crazy.
I loved using Andre. I always picked him. Listeners, I don't know if y'all ever did this, but for me and Travis, our favorite was doing a team Royal Rumble and picking 4 teams of 10, whether it's just us and 2 computer teams, or sometimes we'd have some other friends and get all 4 teams filled with people playing there on the 64 and set it to eliminations on there, pinfall, over the top, submission, all that sort of stuff, and we just go see whose team was the last man standing there, and
take like 40 minutes.
Easily. But it was great, man, and you would spam the low blows.
Yeah, I would hold R, the crouch down when I got up, and just get you a low blow, get you the old Death Valley spot. So it'd be awesome.
Classic.
But yeah, you pick those big guys like Andre, and you wouldn't, like little guys wouldn't be able to pick him up. So it was great. So could have been you, Big Show.
I personally, I was always like to get Ken Shamrock too, especially if we'd have TKO on as elimination.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
He would do the ultimate punches. If you did those 3 or 4 times, I would almost always get a TKO on somebody. So that would combat all your little cheats that you like to do.
Hey, it's not cheating. He was using the rules of the game.
Whatever, man.
You couldn't hold the L. You couldn't hold the L button and block.
No, I was terrible at it.
That's true. SmackDown was fun too, though, man. We had some good times on that. So, but yeah, too bad we never ever used Big Show in our storylines and stuff we made up then. So.
Well, that got me to thinking. We're thinking about that around this time, and another thing that was going on with us as far as playing was you and I were both huge wrestling figure fans. Had both, along with our video game feds, we had wrestling figure feds as well. The Jack Pacific figures, the WCW figures from around this time. That some
Toy Biz,
Oh man, super underrated in my opinion. I love that line. But as you mentioned earlier, right here in August 2000, you and I were both entering high school. We were both freshmen in high school, and we both came to a realization around this time, very sad one, that at 14 years old, as high school freshmen, maybe it was time to stop playing with action figures in our bedroom. So, in case a girl might come over. I'm sure that was the main thinking in there, which didn't happen for me for a very long time. But so we made the sad decision to retire our wrestling figures around this time. I don't know about you. I can't remember, dude. I had a very emotional final pay-per-view with my Fed. Sent these guys off in style. Did you do the same thing?
I did, and I cannot remember the last match, but I do remember that show. It was, my federation was XWA, Extreme Wrestling Alliance, and I believe it was called 0 Hour was my WrestleMania. Or no, it's called Extreme Mania. That's right. 0 Hour was the week before, or the month before. So I had Extreme Mania. Very, very creative back then. But anyway, yeah, it was great. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Raven was my world champ. I loved Raven. I love that figure. So yeah, I remember having to send off and packing them all in the 18-wheeler. Remember my Harley Davidson 18-wheeler? I packed him in. Yeah. Steve McMichael was driving it with his backwards hand. Dude, I could get that on the Zack Ryder podcast. He'd probably love that.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have that one. Backwards hand.
Probably doesn't.
Alternate.
Yeah.
Was that the Raven that had the Daredevil on the t-shirt?
Yes. How
did they get away with that?
It had like Bullseye or Daredevil or something. Yeah, it was, or Punisher or something. It was great, man. So it just flew under the radar. Nobody saw it.
I don't remember what my main event was. I remember I had a match with Hardcore Holly versus Hardcore Hack, and the winner got to keep the name Hardcore.
I remember that.
And I did a big spot where Hardcore Holly threw Hack off of the top of my entertainment center with my TV.
Yes.
Through a table, this handmade table that my grandfather made for me, carved for me out of wood, and sawed for me out of wood, because this was before they ever made an announcer table accessory. So I got my grandfather to make me one that I still have somewhere. It was awesome, and Hardcore Holly got the win, because he would just be Holly if he had lost.
Yeah.
So he got the win there. I remember that. I'm sure probably Stone Cold Steve Austin walked away with the title that night. But man, good memories.
Good memories, good times, great oldies. I wish I still had all that stuff. Filed away somewhere.
I know still have all mine. Yeah.
There's a reason I don't have mine. We'll get to that years from now when we covered that. There's a reason I don't have all mine. It's emotional, but it is what it is. So, I wish I still had that stuff. But anyway, those were good times. Let us know if you guys had some stuff like that, because it's fun to listen to that. Especially, I know Randy Turco, he's pointed out his, he made DVDs of his matches and stuff like that he had. So if any of you guys had wrestling figures and figure federations, please let us know. Reach out to us.
Absolutely,
times, man.
And I encourage you listeners out there, if you're into all that, check out the Zack Ryder and Kurt Hagen's Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I've really enjoyed it over the past few weeks, bringing back a lot of good memories for me. I don't know, man. Kind of makes me want to get back into collecting. I was thinking, I'm honestly, it's not going to happen because I'm pretty broke right now. But if I do fall into some money, I would love to get like everybody that the Undertaker's faced, like everybody, like figure for everybody for that. If I was going to start collecting something, I got to, I've been posting stuff on Instagram with a lot of my figures, but it'd be fun. That would be a fun collection to have.
It would be, man. It'd be cool for us to have, for you to have that for this podcast. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, anyway, let's get back into the business of the podcast here. SmackDown 51, August 10th, 2000. We get an appearance from somebody else who was never in a video game, as far as my knowledge.
You know why? Because he's the worst. He is the worst.
Worse than IRS?
No, but second worst. He's the second tier worst.
Just Joe. on here.
More like Just Blow. This guy sucks, man. I hated Just Joe. Hated him. I hated seeing him during this build-up. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm only mentioning him because there's never going to be another reason to mention him here.
That's true.
He does mention The Undertaker's name as he's talking to
Yes.
Kurt Angle backstage. The main event of the show is Triple H and Kurt Angle against Undertaker and Rock. And we get some segments with Just Joe talking to Kurt Angle and Triple H backstage about, all the rumors and goings-on in the back. And Joe is stirring up trouble between Angle and Triple H, because they're going to be in the main event of SummerSlam against The Rock. And they've got all the business with Stephanie going on. He's telling Angle, don't worry about Undertaker or Rock tonight. You need to worry about your partner, Triple H. So there you go. R.I.P. Just Joe. Your one shout out on Talking Taker podcast.
When you get into the wrestling business, everyone aspires to be a champion.
Absolutely.
Everyone. Even somebody like a Shannon Moore wants to be WWF champion. He knows he's not because his stature is small or whatever. But hey, Rey Mysterio was.
Sure.
But when you get slapped with the name Just Joe, you know your ceiling is not very high. I mean, who you going to say? The Intercontinental Champion, Just Joe. No, nobody wants to hear that. No one's going to hear that. You suck. You suck, sir.
Bruce Pritchard's story on that is pretty funny on that same episode of Something to Wrestle, SummerSlam 2000. If you guys out there want to check it out, it's good stuff.
Oh, man.
Like I said, that main event is Triple H and Angle against Undertaker and Rock, and Undertaker actually...
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a huge main event.
Yeah.
Huge main event. Undertaker walks to the ring instead of riding his bike, interestingly enough, as the announcers recap Undertaker's attacks on Big Show and Shane from Monday Night Raw. And the Undertaker and Rock work really well together here, and Triple H and Kurt Angle can't get along. That's, of course, their story. Triple H ends up leaving Kurt Angle high and dry, walking out in the match, and Undertaker hits Kurt Angle with the last ride to get the pinfall. So Undertaker getting a big win, but still kind of in limbo here as the Big Show's been written off. We don't know what he's going to do at SummerSlam quite yet. And like we said earlier, all those plans for the Shane Event Mafia have kind of fallen by the wayside as well with Big Show being gone.
Yeah, exactly. So the rest of them are still loosely, they're still affiliated with Shane, but yeah, Big Show was kind of a big deal there for 2 weeks, so 3 weeks. But anyway, so that brings us to Raw 377 on August 14th. 2000, and halfway through the show, we're going to get Taker out on his bike. He's supposed to have a match against Benoit. And we see a recap from 2 weeks ago where Kane was chokeslammed to that quote-unquote concrete on SmackDown, like you mentioned. And then Benoit comes out with Shane, and he goes at Taker really intensely. It's just a really intense match, as Benoit matches always were. And at the end of the match, Taker's going to signal for the last ride, and as he does, Shane comes in and attacks Taker with a chair, so get a DQ. After that, Benoit gets Taker in the crippler crossface, hold him down, which again is cool to see because that's a big guy to get in that move. And again, it's Undertaker, so he's a more human guy now, but it's cool to see him down there selling. And then at that point, we get the lights go out, the pyro goes off, and Kane returns. So he's here. He's back from the chiropractor or whatever. I'm not sure where he went after he got choke slammed on the concrete. But Benoit and Shane bail, and Kane helps Taker up. And then, in a moment that mimics about 2 weeks ago, he choke slams his brother. So Undertaker's been turned on by two gigantic men. One of them's his brother, one's his old tag team champion partner. So I guess they're just subbing in Kane here for Big Show because they did the exact same storyline.
Yep. On Something to Wrestle, they said that allegedly the plans were Big Show and Shane versus Undertaker and Kane. That was actually what was supposed to happen at SummerSlam. They're just going back to the well of Undertaker and Kane yet again.
Yeah. Which, it's a good thing that they have a history because otherwise, two-week build to the biggest show of the summer. So, but Kane's not done. He picks Taker back up and choke slams him one more time, and this time he kind of goes through the ring. He doesn't go all the way through the ring like what was that? Was that when he choke slammed Diesel to the ring back in the day? We saw that, or like when
no, Big Show choke slammed.
Big Show choke slammed Undertaker. That's right.
Yeah,
But then
Undertaker
got
just
up,
got right
away.
back up. Yeah.
Yeah, did no sold it. Well, it's not quite as deep of a choke slam as that one. He doesn't go all the way through the ring, but it almost reminded me of when Foley fell through the Hell in a Cell against Triple H back at No Way Out.
Yeah.
He doesn't go all the way through the ring, but there's definitely a crash pad there. But anyway, so he goes through the ring a little bit and doesn't break through, but he dents it and he's selling it real bad. And Kane, however, he's tried to murder his brother here by choke slamming him onto concrete, and he's not done. In addition to attempting murder, he wants to attempt another felony here, and he goes for Grand Theft Auto. So he's going to grab on the grab the Titan bike, crank it up, and ride up the rampway.
Dude, Taker has got to do a better job of locking up this bike, man.
I know. Put one of those clubs on it or something.
Seriously, come on.
Don't put the keys in your pocket when you wrestle. Use them as a weapon while you're wrestling. You know, give them to the referee. That would be great. Got in the ring and toss them to the ref every time.
I would love that.
That's great.
Valet.
Like valet. Yeah. That would have been amazing. So, so great. So, backstage we get Taker looking more human than ever, nursing his wounds because his brother has now beat him up. He's got a cinder block to his knee weeks ago. He's just getting the crap beat out of him, and he's dropping lots of inappropriate language. It's bleeped out and stuff. So, anyway, lots of replays during the night of this choke slam, and JR is always going, "Why, Kane? Why?" And I mean, you could just insert anything there. Like, there's a million reasons he could do it. You know, you burned me as a child 40 years ago, whatever. Like, we don't really need to know why. At this point, it doesn't matter in their story. It just is what it is. You just take it. They're going to be on again, off again. You know, so.
Yep.
This happens. So
we're still at the beginning of their relationship. All things
exactly.
considered. Yeah.
Exactly. And then in something that I don't remember, this has nothing to do with Taker, but Vince returns at the end of this night and tries to settle the score between Hunter and Angle, and I thought he was done. Off jackhammering and stuff. So I guess he came back for a night. I don't know. Does he stick around for a bit? I can't remember, but I thought he was going away for a while, and here he is back again a month later. So.
He ran out of Blue Chew.
I guess he did. Oh, you know Vince, he doesn't need that. He doesn't sleep. So.
That's why he would need it, I would think. Doesn't get enough sleep at night.
Anyway, SmackDown.
We are not sponsored yet, folks. Just letting you guys know. We're open to all sponsorships.
Yeah, almost all.
Yeah. Kane is backstage.
$1 billion BPs. Anyway, go.
Kane is backstage in his all black or black primary variant on his outfit since he's evil now. And he's waiting on the Undertaker. We get a few different just cuts to him in the back, waiting on Undertaker to arrive. He gets angry at one point because Undertaker's late, starts tearing up the backstage, waiting for his bro to arrive. Eventually gets so fed up, he's going to go to the ring and attack X-Pac and Road Dogg in the middle of a match.
It's familiar.
And dude, how ripped is Kane looking at this point in time? How jacked, I would say instead.
Yeah,
because
I called him the Buff Red Machine in my notes.
Dude, we talked about in '99. He was looking just as shredded as ever, slim and flying across the ring. Well, he is on the gas or something, man. He is all of 300 plus pounds here.
Oh yeah,
jacked to the gills.
Oh, for sure, man. He's definitely been hitting the weight room or hitting some shots in his butt or something. So, yeah, I don't know, but he looks big red machine.
Well, he gets on the mic and talks about why. Because he says it's because he's finally accepted what he has always been on the side. A monster!
Did you have something in your throat, or is that how he actually said it?
That's how he said it, man. Sorry. I know it's gimmick infringement. That's usually your deal.
Oh, no. By all means. He doesn't need the gimmick box anymore, so you feel free. I just did that when he had the gimmick box, so yeah.
Well,
did they act like he'd never spoken before, like they did a couple months ago?
No, not quite. But it was a longer promo than we've seen him give, and it's I can't wait till next month on Unforgettable. I've already watched all that stuff, and there's some classic Kane commentary coming up. No, that one.
Perfect.
Undertaker finally arrives here to save X-Pac and Road Dogg, I guess. I'm not really sure, but makes his way to the ring. Kane tries to walk away from Undertaker here. Undertaker's looking for answers. He's asking him, what'd you do? Like, what was all that for the other night?
Right, because they just teamed together like last month.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't understand what's been happening. I guess Kane hadn't been answering his calls.
Well, I know what it is.
What is it?
He's going down the black hole of tobacco.
That's it, man. Maybe that's why he's beefed up so much.
He let him down a bad path.
Oh, man.
Tobacco addiction.
Tobacco is wacko, folks. Just say no.
If you're a teen, why was it only if you're a teen?
If you're an adult,
commercials would say.
Hey, choose for yourself.
Okay, I guess.
Well, Taker keeps begging for answers from Kane. Kane's trying to leave. Undertaker's pulling him, not letting him leave, trying to make him turn around. And Kane finally just decks Undertaker with a right hand. And they start trading blows and go to the outside. And Kane eventually just whacks Undertaker with an unprotected chair shot straight to the head. And you can see Undertaker on the ground, blading himself, and he is busted open right here. A rare instance of Undertaker bleeding. We don't see that a lot. And honestly, dude, there was shockingly little heat to any of this, man. The crowd does not seem invested at all. I guess because it's happening just so suddenly. Maybe there's some Undertaker and Kane burnout, since we've seen it a lot already up to this point over the past few years. So maybe some sort of combination of all that. But yeah, the crowd is just surprisingly quiet for all of this.
Well, that carries over to the quote-unquote match they're going to have at SummerSlam, too, because it's just not a lot of... Like I said, we built up 3 weeks of Raw and SmackDown with Big Show and Undertaker with actual past storyline that was left dangling there back in the summer of last year. And now we've just gone back to the easy one with Kane. It's just, oh, there you go. And there's no Paul Bearer to, intertwine with them and have him get between them or anything. It's just like, and Undertaker's a whole different guy at this point than Kane. So I don't know. It's strange, man. It's definitely thrown together, like you could say. It's held together with some glue and Band-Aids at this point. So that's going to bring us to the go home show for the SummerSlam. This is Raw 378 on August 21st. And we get the battle of the Big Red Machine and the Big Brown Machine, Kane versus Rikishi. And JR tells us that in 6 days.
What brown are you talking about? Yeah.
His butt.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I didn't think that's what you meant, but
that's not what they called his butt, the Big Brown Machine. I thought they called it that. I mean, it's stink face. I haven't slept.
Oh,
anyway. JR on commentary is like, well, in 6 days, it's Kane versus Undertaker. So thanks. We got 1 week of build up versus the 3 weeks of show and Taker. So, oh man, that's a short match. Kane and Rikishi. It breaks down when Kane takes a DQ by handing out some future CTE to Rikishi's head over and over. I think he hits him 4 times. He hits him. Rikishi stands up. He hits him again, and just unprotected, like you said. Just nasty to look in hindsight, now. And then Too Cool come in the ring, and they get some future CTE as well, and with some unprotected chair shots. And then your boys, the Right Censor, come out, and they attack Too Cool for some reason.
Don't you dare.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. RTC comes out, and they start attacking Too Cool, and JR's like, what are they doing here? Like, it's just funny. He doesn't even know, why. Their storylines aren't intertwined at all. But anyway, there's no Taker at all on this Raw, but I just wanted to say that the Kane thing was there, and they announced the Kane versus Taker match at SummerSlam. And this is the episode that some of you may remember. This is Lita versus Stephanie for the women's title in the main event. So, and yes, that's the go home for SummerSlam,
dude,
the main event.
Everybody gives trash on Stephanie for being the leader of the women's revolution. She really was. First
there
one that ever main event Raw.
There you go.
Man, give her the credit.
Right there. There you go. So it was weird to see that match as the go home show, but it makes sense because you got the whole, you got the Triple H Rock angle stuff. But I do remember that match like it was yesterday, but I forgot it was the go home show for SummerSlam, and especially for Taker because I don't even remember this match taking place at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, take us to SmackDown, then we'll get into that. So.
Well, it's interesting that Undertaker's not on Raw because Kane is not going to be on this episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Mick Foley says he has banned Kane from the building to avoid the brothers getting into more altercations before their big matchup on Sunday at the SummerSlam.
Ooh.
So instead, we're going to get a call back to last week and get some more Road Dogg and X-Pac involvement. They are arguing backstage. They've got some problems between them, but they decide they got to pull things together because they got in a handicap match against the Undertaker tonight. And man, it is sad to see how far X-Pac has fallen from last year on the podcast.
Yeah.
We were talking about how insanely over he was teaming with Kane during that time because, dude, this Road Dogg X-Pac DX tag team was just a shell of both of these guys, man. The sad remnants of DX, dude, it's kind of pitiful.
It is, man, and they have a match at SummerSlam, which is just it's bad.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Nobody cared, and you're right. It's a far cry from rewind the clock 1 year and how over X-Pac was in main events with Austin, and you'd think he was the second biggest guy in the company, above Rock. Sometimes it's crazy, man. Yeah, they rode that too hard, that DX thing, way too long. Give WCW too much crap for an NWO. They did the same thing with DX.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And they still do because DX just tag teamed last weekend in Saudi Arabia. So, and they came out with glow sticks and they're 50 years old. So, anyway.
Man. Well, X-Pac and Road Dogg decide to put their problems aside, but Undertaker rides through the halls of this arena and nearly murders them. So, add that to our murder tracker that we've got.
Yeah.
Undertaker comes out for the match. He's got a new T-shirt on. I believe it's his first Biker Taker T-shirt that we see here. And X-Pac just makes one of the most foolish decisions we've ever seen here in 65 episodes. As he walks to the ring with Road Dogg, he spits a loogie onto Undertaker's bike on the way out. And King notes, that's worse than spitting into the wind, dude.
Yeah. That's worse than milk on the like Angle did.
Yeah, for sure. Road Dogg ends up walking out on X-Pac because he knows, man, there's no recovering from that. And X-Pac eats a massive last ride from Undertaker to give Undertaker the win and some momentum heading into the SummerSlam 2000.
Oh, man. Wow. We were riding high with this build-up. I feel like it was cool stuff. We got the Shane Event Mafia. We got Big Show's coming back. Yeah, and then we just limp into the end of the finish line here.
Comes crashing down, man.
I felt like someone threw a cinder block on this build-up. Just crumbled it over there. Anyway, that takes us to SummerSlam. And like I said, man, this is I have such fond memories of this show, man, from 18 years ago. We got Shane's huge bump from the set, with him and I forgot to mention that, on that Raw, where Lita and Stephanie main event, Shane wins the hardcore title out of nowhere. So anyway, that's how you got to that match. So we got Shane's huge bump from the set. We got the first ever TLC.
Oh man, that was game changer, dude.
Oh yeah,
rewatch that over and over and over again on VHS.
Absolutely. You got Jericho and Benoit in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I mean, are you kidding me? That's just in-ring gold right there. You got the great main event where Kurt Angle gets for a shoot knocked out, somehow comes back and continues. Triple H and Rock walk him through the match, and he's only been in the business for a year and a couple months, and it's just, it's amazing, and all those things. And I did not remember that Taker and Kane wrestled on this, man.
Exactly.
I did not.
Exactly.
I didn't.
There's a reason you remember all those things and not this Taker and Kane match on this show.
It's second from the top. This is the co-main event. Is them. They go on right before the triple threat main event for the title. That's nuts.
Well, dude, you recapped that whole card and you left off our second nominee for this week's Vince Russo Memorial Broma of the Week.
Oh, my.
Because the cat...
The big brown machine?
And Terry Runnels competed in a thong stink face match. Ladies and gentlemen, that was actually the type of match that these two women competed in. Oh man,
Who wasn't writing?
Vince Russo was not
Thank
right.
you.
You look at that match title, you look at that card, you think, oh, that must be Vince Russo. Oh no. Credit goes elsewhere, my friends. And so I'm going to let you decide, man. Are we going to give the Broman of the Week to the Save the Hose campaign as the Hose search for a new pimp daddy? Or are we going to give it to two women in thongs trying to shove their butts in each other's faces?
I'm going to flip the coin and say that either one could definitely walk off with a win. But I think the edge has got to go to that stink face match.
Yeah.
That is out of control.
That is out of control.
So Russo Broman of the Week goes to the Cat and Terry in disgusting debauchery. Right?
Talk about a women's revolution, man.
Yeah, how far we've come.
Good Lord. Well, let's talk about this main event for us here. This match between Undertaker and Kane, or is it a match? We get a nice little video package recapping this very brief chapter in Undertaker and Kane's rivalry. And as you mentioned, Travis, it does go on second from the top, even though it's basically an afterthought compared to the rest of the happenings on this show.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, too, this is August 27th from Raleigh, North Carolina, the Raleigh Entertainment Sports Arena. And I just remember this night thinking the Hardys are going to walk away with titles, man. They're in their home state, you know. They did not. Edge and Christian won that match. So I remember that being a big deal for me, thinking that was going to happen. So, yeah, you're right, though. We get this video recap showing us this epic feud that began 2 weeks ago. And can you imagine nowadays if they just throw a match on to like the big show like that? I mean, I know they do, but I'm saying like SummerSlam or WrestleMania, just like 2 weeks beforehand. It's just like, oh, these two guys.
Yeah.
You know what? It reminds me of remember WrestleMania X8 when all of a sudden Kurt Angle and Kane fight for no reason?
Yeah.
Well, something about Kane.
I think that was the week of. It might have been the week before WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think Benoit and Angle was too the year before at X7. So
yeah.
Anyway, this, like I said, luckily these guys have a history because otherwise this match is really crap. So I mean, it wouldn't make sense storyline wise. So is JR and King on commentary?
Of course, JR and King, of course, the standards in this era, and they're trying their best to sell this match, hyping up the brutality, which we have seen a lot of from Kane and Undertaker. They've really been building them up as monsters. So JR mentions that no referees in the back wanted this assignment. They all were afraid of it, but Jack Doan is the referee and says he was ultimately assigned a match. And he said earlier in the night that he's just going to let these two go. So that's they're kind of teasing what we're going to get into here.
Yeah, they are. And Taker comes out first on his white motorcycle. And I just wrote the crowd loves him, or do they? Because the edits on the network are just hard to decipher what's legitimate and what's not, So I'm sure the crowd liked them a lot. I mean, again, it's Raleigh. That's a pretty good town. Definitely more of an NWA, WCW town, but I'm sure the crowd loved him. So, but who knows? We don't really know till we get to his actual music when he actually has it. So. And they're not dubbing over the crowd noise and stuff. So, anyway.
Dude, we have not talked about The Undertaker's magic stairs yet during this time.
How they disappear when he comes out.
Yeah.
Well, good thing they did for this match because what's about to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right, man. He just magically, his music hits, and all of a sudden those stairs just fold up against the ring, against the guardrails. So, I remember, like, back in these days, like, trying to watch the, like, the whatever, the grips or whatever, the little lackeys move them. I could never see them. They never caught them on camera.
We always used to make fun of that back in the day. Kane's coming out next, and he's looking fresh. He's got a new sleeveless outfit, his first appearance of that. He's got a tank top, and he's got kind of the Brutus the Barber Beefcake cuts in his outfit, too, with the mesh on there.
Booty, man.
Showing some skin.
Oh, yeah. You could change those colors of that mesh on No Mercy, I remember.
God, that was so great.
Such a good game.
King on commentary is talking about how he used to love monsters as a kid and monster movies, but
The big red monster. You know when I was a kid, JR, I loved
had real monsters, man, like Oblina and what were the other Abra monsters? Crumb?
Ickis.
Ickis? Yeah,
Yep.
Ickis, Oblina, and Crumb. Yeah, anyway.
That was an underrated Nicktoon right there.
Oh, phenomenal. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Well, the reason that Taker came out first is because the fight's going to start as Kane's coming on down the way to the ring. Taker's just going to jump out, attack him in the aisle, start punching him, and then they just kind of start brawling out there. And Taker is going to try to take Kane's mask off, and JR goes, he's like, I can't remember anyone ever going for Kane's masks, which, I mean, I think you and I both wrote in our notes, like, how about the GTV stuff? You know?
Yeah.
That was literally like 5 weeks ago.
The Fact Gene, dude.
Yeah.
That was the entire episode of Raw.
Yeah. 2 hours played out over
Come
that.
on, JR. Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know, it just took till 2018 till Shawn Michaels had that magic punch to make it work.
Well, Kane grabs a chair on the outside and brings it into the ring, and then Undertaker hits a Death Valley blow to gain some momentum here. And again, referee Jack Doan is letting all this stuff fly. Taker uses the chair right in front of the ref, and the ref is just sitting back, letting him go there. The announcers say he's just there to count the 3 count if it happens here. So then Undertaker again gets down on the ground and starts trying to rip Kane's mask off, and he does actually get part of it off, a little section of it. He pulls it off.
Yeah, he pulls like half of it off, so his face is kind of partially exposed. But again, Jack Doan, referee, doesn't care. Also, crowd doesn't care. At this point, I mean, seriously, like, I just don't think. I mean, we'll get to at the end of it, but at this point, they don't really care because there's not a lot going into this. That hasn't been. The storyline hasn't been, I'm going to expose your face. Like,
Right.
if that was the storyline the last 2 weeks even of Raw or SmackDown, like, I want to expose the monster you really are to the, you know, the audience, or that would have been something, you know, but it's just like, oh, I'm going to go for your face all of a sudden, you know? It's just that's never been Undertaker's MO in any of their feuds for the last 3 years. So.
That's a great point. Yeah, it sounds like something they came up with that afternoon.
Yeah, really. Like, laying out the match, and Patterson's like, yeah, just go for his mask.
Go for the mask.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's poor impression of a poor impression right there.
Well, that's perfect. Sound just like him. Yeah, it's crazy though. So those steel ring steps are still leaned up against the guardrails on the outside, and they Kane starts bouncing Taker's head off of him, and then he goes to hit Taker who with the ring steps to Taker ducks, and
the
Kane
300-pound ring steps, as commentary calls it.
300 pounds that he hits himself in the face with, and then Taker lifts him up over his head and throws him at Kane and smashes him in his face. So 300 pounds, he just threw it at his brother's forehead. I've been angry at my brother before, but I'm never going to throw something that's 300 pounds at his forehead because that would murder him.
I'm never going to throw something that weighs 300 pounds, just in general. I can tell you that for the rest of my life. All right.
Just kidding. Well, and then this is probably my favorite part of the match.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Undertaker gets fired up, man. He tells the crowd, I'm going to rip his effing mask off. Except he doesn't say effing. He lets it all hang loose. And the crowd loved that.
Oh, yeah. They came alive for that, man. So I love this Taker that talks throughout the matches. It's great. I wish he had like a mic on like Leo Rush does nowadays.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Come on, Mr. Turnbuckle. I'm going to rip his effing mask off. That'd be great. So I'm not sure why Taker sounds like Mark Henry, my impression. But anyway. Anyway.
The other... never mind.
Never mind. Yeah. Undertaker hits some right hands and then rolls Kane into the ring. And Kane is bleeding, they say, at this point. I guess because those 300-pound stairs got thrown at his face. And back in the ring, Kane hits him with the Death Valley low blow, which is a great move from No Mercy. Just hold R and then hit B. And you personally could never defend against that. So
Ding!
Always good for taking... Yeah, ding! Always good to take somebody out. And Kane starts wailing away at Taker. And now that he's seen his own blood, he kind of sets the monster loose. You know, he kind of... It's like, I don't know what to compare it to, but he kind of goes off the deep end now that he's seen his own blood. So
Yeah, so if you're keeping track at home, folks, the Talking Taker blood tracker only going to go up to 2 here for this episode. Not quite
Yeah.
up to the levels of that fully loaded episode. But the King incorrectly notes that Kane has never seen his own blood because he was busted open last year. I think it was, or in 98 or sometime, building towards something. I can't remember, but...
So that first blood match with Austin at King of the Ring, his arm was like bleeding at some point before that first blood match, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was that, and they also like cut the top of his head at one point.
Yeah, he cut his head too.
I want to say that was going into SummerSlam, and they did that Hell in a Cell on Raw or something.
Mm-hmm.
But also maybe saw his own blood when he was horribly burned and scarred as a child. Just a possibility, man. I don't know.
That's where we need Paul Bear here to clarify.
Yeah, clarify those things. Undertaker adds to his moveset here as he busts out a spear for the first time I could remember. Solid spear.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Man. I liked it.
Really liked it.
I enjoyed it. Good spear. I had to rewind it like 3 times to see. Like, he just caught me off guard, man. I don't know. Again, I do not remember this match for the life of me. I mean, I probably fast forwarded right through it when I watched this VHS. He starts wailing away on Kane's face, and then they do like the female wrestler catfight roll. They kind of roll on top of each other and back and forth, and then Kane is kind of face down, and Taker rips his entire mask off at this point. And I just wrote the crowd does pop a little bit for that. They like that. So, but again, it's not the story being told on television, so it's cool. But again, if they would have made some mistakes about it or just made it a selling point, it would have had more meaning to it, you know.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's why no one remembers this match. Kane goes for a choke slam, but Undertaker hits a Death Valley blow. And then Undertaker tosses Kane down, and in the process, yanks the mask off completely of Kane's face on the way down. So Kane stumbles away, rolls out of the ring, and we actually do get a few glimpses of Kane's face. If you pause the tape or the network, the tape back in the day, you could see Kane's face there if you pause it at just the right second with some black eye makeup on. But he puts his hand over his face and tries to throw his hair down in front of his face to cover it up.
His hair, not his wig hair from 2018.
Exactly. Or 2003.
Or that.
And that is the finish? ? Because Undertaker holds the mask up victoriously as JR notes that Logan didn't even have a bell in this matchup. And apparently, Travis, that's not the case.
Yeah, so JR's like, there's no bell, which is not true. I went back, and if you rewind it and you go to 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 28 seconds on the network, it's right as Taker attacks Kane in the aisleway. When he throws that first punch, you can clearly hear a bell, like ding, 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 ding. So I don't know if there was not supposed to be a bell, because I don't think there's one at the end. But
there's not one at the end, no.
Right. So, but from that bell, when he throws that first punch to his music being played once he holds the mask up, it's about 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So was it official? Was it not? I don't know. But there clearly is a bell to begin the match in the aisleway, though. But again, I guess maybe the timekeeper just messed up there. I mean, you're used to that. That's your job, is to ring the bell.
Yeah.
So certainly that's probably what happened. So I don't know. It's just speculation on our part, but.
Well, I didn't notice it at first, but I did go back and watch it, and you can hear that. And I also thought, I went back, I thought I heard a bell during Undertaker's entrance as well. Although I was thinking maybe that was part of the dubbed-in crowd noise from another match that they're using the crowd noise and music from there. I don't really know. But yeah, a little controversy there according to JR's call of no official bell to start the match, but apparently it did, and I guess we'll just have to call it a no contest there as Kane walks away and Undertaker stands tall holding Kane's mask.
Like he's Chris Jericho back in '98, man, taking trophies, dude. I love it. So that's my favorite Chris Jericho years is '97, '98. But Anyway, but again, Taker just owns his brother once again in this one-sided feud. So it's
Yeah, and it's definitely not the highlight of this pay-per-view, not their best match by any means, and, nothing to write home about here.
No.
Interestingly, on that Something to Wrestle, I keep bringing it up, but they kind of trashed this show. Neither Conrad or Bruce said they enjoyed SummerSlam 2000, which I was surprised by.
Dude.
Man, yeah, it's a really fun show. Although, like we mentioned earlier, no one remembers it for this match.
No, not at all. But that's fine. A lot of good other stuff happening on it. It's just, like you mentioned, Big Show's real life got in the way of his work life, and so that happened. He got punished, and Undertaker unfortunately had to pay the price for it. But at least he got a big win-ish here, maybe. I don't know. He unmasked his brother, and I don't know. Yeah, I just really wish that was played into the storyline, on television. It would have had more of an impact to the live crowd. They did like when his mask came off, but still, it's just like, I don't know, whatever.
And that is the first time, besides that episode of Raw, that they've really teased stuff like that in a match. So it was kind of a different twist on it, trying to do something here. But we want to hear, that's how we feel about it. We want to hear how you feel about it, Creatures of the Night. So hit us up on the social media, at Talking Taker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and let us know your feelings about this, about the Big Show, about No Mercy, the video game, SmackDown video games for PlayStation 1, about your action figure feds. When did you finally put them away? Have you ever put them away? Did you ever grow out of them? We're not judging you. That's just what we decided.
No.
And, I definitely miss it and would still pull them out from time to time, even though I was retired. But yeah, hit us up. Let us know about all of that. If you don't mind, go subscribe if you're not already. Wherever you listen to podcasts, on Apple, Google, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, all of that good stuff. And just another shout out to our sister show or brother show, since we're talking about dudes wrestling, the Bottom Line podcast. They are going through Stone Cold's career in much the same way that we're going through The Undertaker's career. So if you'd like that perspective of things, you can go hit them up, listen to them wherever you listen to podcasts. And just another one, they don't need our plugs, but we do rip on Russo a little bit. We're actually kind of defending him with the Russo Bowman of the Week. But
sure.
I have really been surprised by how much I've been enjoying Vince Russo's new podcast, Truth with Consequences, with Matt Coon. It's been covering some interesting stuff that hasn't been covered on a lot of the other wrestling podcasts. And they're not super long, they're about hour 45, hour and a half, something like that, and it's definitely a different side of Vince Russo than we've heard before. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for more wrestling podcast content out there.
Yep, absolutely, can't agree more. Good stuff out there, and man, those guys that picked Austin, what a genius idea. They picked somebody who was only in the Fed for like 7 years.
Touche.
We picked a guy who's 28 years in.
Oh boy, ribs on us.
Kidding. Yeah, jokes on us. No, but it's cool, man. Their stuff is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say before we get in the end here as well, if you are in Charleston, South Carolina, you ought to try to make a trip to go see The Undertaker. He's doing a signing on December 10th. At
8th, I think.
December 8th, excuse me. Sorry. Sometime. Yeah, you can find it. Go look on Undertaker's Instagram. That's a weird thing to say, but go look on that. And if you've got at least $150 to drop, you can get an autograph for The Undertaker, or if you spend more, you can get unlimited beer and wings at this restaurant. But I don't know, man. It's a little bit out of my price range, but would love to go do it.
If you wear a Taker Easy shirt and get a picture with him, I will reimburse half of your ticket. The $150. I will reimburse $75 from my 3 children's future college fund for you to take a picture with Undertaker at Charleston with a Taker Easy or any of our t-shirts. Bury Me Softly Brother, whatever you want to do. Any of those.
I'm a Biker Taker guy or a Biker Taker girl.
Yeah.
Get it at TeePublic.com, folks. There you go. Half your ticket reimbursed there.
Half of the $150 ticket.
Oh yeah, not the $1,000 one.
No. I got mouths to feed. So anyway, you got that.
Yeah, pics or it didn't happen though. Pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to have proof.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't even have Twitter, so joke's on you. I'm just kidding. We'll check it. But anyway, if you were there, please go there to Charleston. I hope somebody takes us up on that. If you were there at Raleigh at the sports arena on August 27th, let us know what you felt about this night, this great night of the SummerSlam. If you remember this match, or if you fell asleep during it like most of the crowd did, if you went and got some popcorn before the main event, who knows? Let us know what you thought about this. Ladies and gentlemen, take it easy. I may eat my words. $75.